So there we go. All right.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'll jump right in then, Michelle, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, very well. So today we want to talk about the leadership ladder. It's something that you've probably heard about before. You might be familiar with it, you might not. You might be learning about it. And so that's what I want to talk about today. So let me just navigate through this and share with you why in the first place, the leadership ladder, why we put it together. And so in my experience, working in direct sales, there's typically two things that people strive for. Okay, I guess three things, two of which are very similar: rank, recognition, and commissions. Rank, recognition, commissions, right? I think the rank might be part of the recognition, but there's some recognition that is not rank related, right? There is elite, there's premier, there's Success Club 5. There's various things that, keep people in the game. And so you're going to find out, and I would venture a guess that some of you are driven by one thing or the other, right? Some of you are driven by rank, recognition, or income, right? Volume, growing volume. Now, when I first came onto Beachbody, I felt that we're very good at driving rank and recognition. Recognition drives everything. Literally, it drives everything. I remember the first 2 months here, I went, geez, what? And competition, by the way, right? I said, why don't we have some kind of a team competition? And we started brainstorming, and that's how the Team Cup was born. People, love friendly competition, and they love working in teams, and then they also love the recognition that comes with it, be it hats or trips or whatever that you get. And by the way, that's stuff you can go to at your local store and purchase, right? But the fact that it's something that comes and, and it's like recognizing you drives you, right? And guess what? The people that you attract are driven by that as well, right? So the one missing link that I felt was missing here was volume. Everybody, and again, not everybody is driven by volume or income, but gosh, if you're going to build a business, you might as well get paid for what you do, right? And you're going to find some people are driven by that. So that's how the leadership ladder was really created. It was created as a tool to recognize, but to also give people benchmarks to go after, okay? In terms of volume, but also in terms of duplication, okay? Now, when you start building the business, it's you. You're a customer, you become a coach, you run a challenge group, you sell a few challenge packs, you get Success Club 5, 10, etc. You start building your business, then you find a few coaches that want to do what you do, which is great. And then the next thing that you typically go for is you look at, okay, so you talk to your coach and your coach says, all right, so your coach, your goal should be emerald. I'm an emerald, your coach should be diamond. It gives you a benchmark to go for. That's from a rank and recognition standpoint. From a volume standpoint, there's really no benchmark, right? There's really no benchmark that says, so at a diamond level, what should I expect in terms of commission, right? At a emerald level, what should I expect in terms of commission? Obviously, we know that you cycle a certain amount, right? You get paid a certain amount per cycle as an emerald, 14, 16 as a ruby, 18 as a diamond and above, but you cycle off of volume, right? And commissions. And so what the leadership ladder has helped us do is really point you in the direction of where you should push for from an income and volume standpoint. Now, let me be clear. When I say income, we actually include income that you make from your retail income, retail commissions, right? So it's not just all volume driven. It's a combination of both your retail commissions as well as the volume that you produce as you grow a team. Okay. Now, if you're hearing this for the first time, I'm going to allow you to be overwhelmed. Okay. At first, it's sort of overwhelming getting these. It's sort of like a new concept if you've just focused, and especially at 7 p.m. Eastern time after a long day. I want to break it down as simply as I can. And then I want you to ask questions, please. If there's something that you have, just write it down and ask questions. I want to make sure that you get that. Now, is this something that I would advise you to share with your new coaches? Probably not. It will be something for you, though, as a collective group, because you are pushing to advance to diamond or star diamond or premier or elite to strive for. Okay, and at the end, I'm going to issue a challenge to basically say, that basically will say, look at where you are in the leadership ladder and identify where what are the things that you need to check off to get to the next rung in the leadership ladder. Okay, so I want us to have that agreement. That's the one thing that I'm going to ask you to do at the end of this, right? Okay, so here's a few things that I do like about the leadership ladder. The leadership ladder takes a monthly snapshot. Many times you look at your business and you're paid every week. I don't think it's healthy to judge your business on a weekly basis. If you look at any large corporation, they look at a monthly snapshot, a quarterly snapshot, or they look at the whole year's progression. A week is such a small part of your whole month and a whole quarter that is just not fair to say, because here's the reality. How many of you have had the same week every single week and the same sort of predictable week after week? Okay, so nobody, right? But if you can look at a whole month, you can actually see a better progression. Every week could be like this, okay? It could be like this. Now, if every month is like this, then we need to talk, right? But once you extend it a little bit more, it gives you a really better view of the performance of your business. And as a business owner, as much as you might not like numbers, and I know some of you don't like numbers, you have to be able to evaluate the health of your business and to look at it, sort of take a helicopter view and say, okay, what is really happening in my business, okay? And I'm going to break down the leadership ladder right now with you, okay? So let me share my screen and show you where you need to look for this information, okay? And this might be something that you guys have seen already, but let's go to your first, I guess let me log in here, okay, and show you exactly where to get all this information, the leadership ladder information. So this is your main page, right? This is your landing page. If you go to your left side navigation under leadership ladder right here, it actually shows you basically everything that you need to know about your own personal numbers. As you can see over here, I'm not doing great. Okay, lots of zeros over here. But you'll see under your own, a lot of numbers are populated in here, okay? It basically is telling me my current rung is 0. Next one is business starter, okay? When you click on this tab here, it shows you basically how the leadership ladder works, and it actually breaks down, okay? It actually, there's a video that you can watch here where Michael Neiman breaks down the leadership ladder rung, basically rung by rung, okay? So I'll click on the first one, which is business starter, okay? At business starter, what I really like about business starter is someone that has just gotten started. It's someone that is now earning enough of an income per month to pay for their Shakeology and has hit Success Club 5. Okay, so it's SC5, earn $100, we call them BP. These are bonus points. So bonus points could be converted to Canadian dollars or British pounds or US dollars. So it's 100 bonus points that pays for your Shakeology. That's a great place to be, right? That should be one of the first goals you share with your coaches, right? So that's business starter. That's, you're just getting started there at business starter. A team leader, so it goes from business starter to team leader. A team builder. Team builder, you're earning 250 bonus points a month, Okay, this is a monthly thing. Okay, it's not a weekly thing. So you got to kind of change your thinking here into thinking about a month. So I want you to stretch the weeks, put them into 4 and make it a monthly thing. So you're at 250, you're earning Success Club 5, you have developed and you've gotten to Emerald, and you also have 2 coaches that are earning 1+ Success Club points, okay? So you are now at the beginning stages of building a team. And your team is also working. Literally, this is where it's like you're throwing the rock in the pond and it's creating ripples. You are now starting to duplicate yourself, right? But team builders is a great benchmark for Emerald coaches that are now, most Emerald coaches, their goal is to get to Diamond. Okay, and on your way to Diamond, what we're hoping happens, obviously, is that you become a team builder. So that not only are you the one producing, but you also find a couple people that produce. And notice it says 2 PS coaches with 1+ Success Club points, right? We're not saying 2 coaches that achieve Success Club 5. So he's finding 2 other people that literally sell 1 challenge pack, gets you to team builder, okay? Obviously, that will influence your week-like volume. You'll see here 200 TV, but also you're now earning 250 bonus points per month, okay? So you're not only paying for your Shakeology, you've got some extra, okay, left over, which is a great place, right? This is where husbands, Terry, and spouses go, maybe this Beachbody thing is working, right? And so that's a great goal to go for, especially for those coaches that you have that want to make this a long-term business. That's a great goal to have, and that goal doesn't happen by them just signing coaches, by them just retailing and signing coaches. It happens by them starting, you first of all, pointing them in the direction of duplication, right? So you're working with, Angie, you tell Angie, listen, you're doing great. You're an Emerald coach, and maybe that's an Emerald coach with 4 or 5 coaches. Angie, who do you have that, that has just finished a challenge group and he's a coach that we can work with to help them sell their first challenge pack, right? Because those beginnings, what I like about this leadership ladder is really points to those beginnings, right? And those beginnings really help sort of set the stage. It's what keeps them in the game, right? So that's team builder. You then go here to team leader. Okay, team leader. This one is a major one. And by the way, the jump between team builder and team leader is quite large, right? Because when you look at, it's 250 versus 1,000. It's 200 team volume on your weak side to 5,000. So that is so if I were to pause, I would say if you are at a rung for a long time, don't worry about it, right? It's a process, essentially. As you're building the team, so does the volume build up, so do the commissions build up, but it gives you something to strive for. Something to strive for that has a number attached to it. Right? A number, when I say number, it obviously, I mean volume, but that number then influences, how much you get paid, which is great. So a team leader, you're at 1,000 bonus points a month. Success Club 5, you're a Diamond coach. You have a team of workers, right? 4 coaches that have 1+ Success Club points and 5,000 in team volume, right? 5,000 in team volume. So these are sort of, the 3 main ones. You can go in here and again, look at, organizational leader and executive leader and look at all this stuff, which is great. But really here is where on your page, this is where you're going to see on your landing page, this is where you're going to see where you are. And it actually shows you what you need. So in this case, obviously I need everything, but it will tell you where what you need to do for your next run in this column where it says next run, right? So in other words, here it'll show you your actuals. This will show you your goals, which is great to see. Now, lots of information. Here's how you process this. The best way to process this really is to do 3 things. Number 1, you need to track your business. Okay. You need to track your business. This is now, I'm talking to those people who are allergic to tracking forms. You need to track your business. Yes, people smile. Apparently, there's quite a few allergic to those. You need to track your business. I'm telling you right now, I don't know how many times I talk to people and they'll say, oh, it's not working and I'm working so hard and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me what you've actually done this past week. Well, I've done this. I've made a post. I'm like, no, like, show me what you've actually done. Because if you don't show me, there's no way for me to actually, like, if I'm like investigating, I wouldn't even know where to start, right? If you track your business, you'll be able to see what you did and what you didn't do, right? So you guys, I'm sure that, Michelle and Megan, you guys have either your own or maybe you use the business activity tracker. Okay, it's also in your back office. Whichever tracker you use, make sure you use that. I'm telling you, it's something that I've been to so many, like, and by the way, I'm one of those that I don't like tracking stuff. And I've been to Brendon Burchard and I've listened to Tony Robbins. I've listened to so many people and literally they all say, track your stuff. Although they didn't say stuff. They said something else. But track your business. All right. Make sure you track your business. Why? Because you can then tell your coaches to track their own business, and it'll be a lot easier to then say, if you're to do this activity and you were maybe more involved in inviting and connecting and attracting people, you would be able to produce results. If you don't know what you're tracking, there's no way for you to actually troubleshoot what your coaches are doing. So number one, track your business and read about this, right? Read about the leadership ladder, understand that. Number two, see where you're at. Go into your back office and look at where you are at, okay? What rung are you at? What do you need to do, okay? And set some goals on that. Basically on what you need to do. Now, here are the goals. Here's ultimately where you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out that you need to find some business builders, okay? And so it's gonna be one of two things. Either you continue signing up coaches, and you continue tracking your business to see how that customer to coach conversion is happening, or prospect to coach conversion is happening, or you're going to need to talk to your coaches, right? You're going to need to talk to your coaches. So I want to pause there. I want to talk to you about talking to your coaches, okay? But again, if you don't track where you're at, if you don't understand what you need to do next, then you're sort of doing this and kind of walking and hoping that you get to your destination. You know what I mean? It's like you're putting it's okay to put the blinders on. You're supposed to put them on either side of you, not in front of you, right? Like, don't cover your face and say, I think this is going to work, right? You're not going to end up anywhere. What the business, what the leadership ladder gives you is it gives you something to strive for, from a volume standpoint and a true business metric standpoint, which is volume again, which is a volume, which is your paycheck, right? Commissions, and then your team, and really looking at your team. That's really the missing link. And by the way, that helps you develop a strong business, because I will tell you right now, I've been here for 7 years and I've seen people that go to 15-star with like literally a deck of cards. And I would rather you get to a solid 2-star and you've got a solid business, or a 5-star versus 10-star and it's a deck of cards, and you get there and you hold for 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks it falls down, right? Trust me, it's not worth it, right? Like, trust the process. Okay, this is not a race. You're not racing anyone. I think because this is so unique to you, you're not even looking now at diamond or star diamond or looking at all these people advanced. It actually gives you a bit more focus on your journey, right? And hopefully it gives you more patience with the process, because you understand that moving from rung to rung is a process. It's not like I go from business starter to team builder to team leader in like a few months. That doesn't happen. I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen with regularity, right? It takes up the process of going through and tracking, figuring out where you're at, and then really, identifying your team, okay? Now, the team thing, okay? And maybe I've talked to you guys before. I think it's a good refresher for you guys. I think this, and by the way, this is something that you can use either with your brand new teammates or going back to the people that you currently have that are coaches. So in general, there's 3 categories of coaches. You've got your person that is that wants to work maybe 5 hours a week at most. At most, they want to get their Shakeology paid for, right? And again, they're going to work 5 hours a week or less, and they just want to get their Shakeology paid for. That's the first category. The second category are people that want to work it in their part-time hours, and some weeks will be better than others, right? Some weeks will be better than others, but they're willing to spend anywhere from 5 to 15 hours a week, okay, working their businesses. Now, these are people that would fit under the category of probably the second one, which is team builder. Okay, yeah, team builder. Because you've got business starter, then team builder. Team builder, basically, with team builder is someone that is wanting to not only get their Shakeology paid for, but have a little bit extra above and beyond. Okay, that's team builder. That's that's at a minimum of 250 a month and above. Okay, that's really team builders. These are people that are willing to give you 5 to 15 hours at team builder, right? And that's what they're willing to give you. And then you've got other people, like really all of you, if not most of you, that want to build a full-time business, right? A full-time income. And that's where the process happens, right? Basically from team builder and on up, that's a process. It's not an overnight process. It's a process that takes years to build that full-time income, right? And so that kind of person typically will spend 15 plus hours building their businesses, okay? Because if you reap what you sow, and so that's a person that is willing to invest some time. So next time someone signs up with you and says, Heidi, you watch me go, I'm going to be your next diamond coach. And then you ask them you ask them how many hours they're willing to invest, and they say 5. You go, okay, you'll be my next diamond coach in like 3 years. At the rate you're going, that's okay, right? It's, what is it? Time, let's see, distance times speed equals, anyway, you guys, I don't do math. I shouldn't have gone down that path. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you get what you invest. And if you're just investing 5 hours, it's going to take you a long time to get to your destination, right? So you have to have an agreement with these coaches. You have to have the courage to hold them accountable. I just always go back to my best coaches were people that were holding me accountable. They weren't always the most pleasant people, but man, I knew that they wanted me to be successful. And they didn't even need the courage. It's almost like they had it in them. Some of you are going to have to work up the courage, and the courage looks like this. You need to have the courage to help them balance their goals and their activities, right? If their goals are up here and their activities are down here, you're going to need them to either like reduce the goal or up the activity. That's as simple as that, right? But that doesn't happen unless you have that conversation, right? You have that conversation. So what it will do also, by the way, it will really help you filter out the real people that want to do it from the people that don't want to do it, right? A question you could ask is, hey, how many of you are wanting to go full-time? Everybody will raise their hands, right? Everybody will raise their hands. Well, okay, so here's what it takes, and you define the 3 categories, and you say 1, 2, 3. Okay, so by the raise of hands, all of you sounded like you're category 3. After you tell them what it takes, you're probably going to have more 1s and 2s than 3s, and that's okay. That's sort of how the cookie crumbles, okay? Nothing to do with you, nothing to do with the vision that you've painted. All you can do is continue leading by example. That's all you can continue doing. But the leadership ladder really takes it above and beyond, because you're tracking your business. You need to duplicate your business. You start looking for people that are going to do it with you, right? And there's an actual income goal that you have. That's what I like about the leadership ladder, right? So all of you really, everybody on this call should be striving for team leader, okay? Team leader to really build a solid business. Because again, I love the business. I love that we recognize the heck out of you guys. I love that you guys are pushing for rank. You should continue pushing for rank, because as you push for rank, you're obviously going to find more coaches to work with. but definitely start tracking your business and start looking at where you're going. That's the best thing that the leadership ladder can be. Take you one step at a time. Take a step back, allow yourself to be overwhelmed, but really peel the layers of this and find out what it's about. Team leader should be everybody's true north, right? And then building from there. But understand, it's a process. But I love that the process will require some key ingredients that will help you grow a long-term business, okay? So have I got you still? Are you still there? Are you still with me? I know it's a lot to take on. It's leadership ladder. So let me see. Any questions? Michelle, anybody, really? Any questions or remarks?
I have a comment. Just, I mean, you guys know I am like math is this kind of thing is difficult for me to process. However, I've spent quite a bit of time trying to figure it out, because I remember when I went diamond, feeling like, all the magic was supposed to start happening. Well, you can be diamond with 10 people that aren't doing anything for your business. Like, I went diamond with like family members and discount coaches. So no magic was happening. It wasn't until I had like the courage to find people that really wanted to build the business and then talk to them about it. And that took me a long time. Like, my first coaches here will know I never had those conversations because I was really nervous about those honest conversations. But now I do. Like, if someone tells me, Marie tells me she wants to be diamond, well, I'm not afraid to say, okay, well, this is what you have to do if this is the amount of money you want to make. Like, you really do have to have those conversations. And I find kind of understanding the leadership ladder makes it so much easier, because you aren't just chasing these like shiny things that really don't make a ton of difference in the end. So I think it's important that we do understand it and start trying to explain it to our team, but in a way that it's easy to sort of process for them. So
yeah. So really, if you're sitting down with your team being a coach, you don't need to explain to them team leader, business leader, and business starter and all that. All you need to explain to them is, I'm going to work with you to get to Success Club 5. You're the one pushing for team leader. Your team doesn't need to understand all that. It's just too much for them. You talk about the courage to hold them accountable. So there is a coach from Calgary, actually, who happens to be a friend as well. So I had a conversation with her, and like, let's say, take spouses, for instance, or best friends, right? Your best friend growing up, Megan or Colleen, they don't know you as a Beachbody coach. They know you as, I don't know, like you're in sports together or theater or whatever. Like, they look at you and you're like, hey, you're a fitness coach now? Okay. Like, your credibility as a coach, it's like, it kind of goes out. And so you have to build it up. And so that was my situation for me. I go, hey, listen, I mentor a lot of coaches, even top coaches. My friend was like, okay, whatever. Like, this is a coach that I want her to succeed, right? And so that was really hard. So I had to break it down a few times, and I had to show her what I was doing with other coaches for her to finally get it. Here's what she was doing. She was giving away her time for free. She wasn't valuing her time. She was doing a bunch of free challenge groups. She was working hard with zero to show for. Like, zero to show for. And I finally said, listen, you can continue doing what you're doing, but you're not going to be free from your job that you hate. And your husband is really going to start asking you what you are doing on social media for so many hours with nothing to show for. And so it took me going there, honestly, just pissing her off. That's what I had to do, because the whole being nice to her wasn't working. And so you've got to find, like, in working with your coaches, you've got to find, like, what's going to drive them. And for her, it was me saying, sort of utilizing, like, the fear of loss. The fear of loss actually drives more people than the prospect of gaining something. So that opened her up a little bit. And then I said, listen, is your time valuable? Yeah, you've got 2 kids, you've got a husband, you've got a full-time job, you've got all these things. Do you feel that because what she was doing is she would get people to bod, but they would never buy Shakeology. She was hitting all these objections. So I had to work her through the objection and show her the value of Shakeology. And so I kept saying, so you lost weight. You did it with both bod, a program, and Shakeology. If you remove Shakeology, would you have had the same results? She goes, no. Like I ran out of Shakeology 1 week and I felt like it was the end of the world, right? Something like that. And I said, so do you believe that Shakeology pays for itself? When you break down the cost of Shakeology per day, do you feel that it pays for itself based on the results that you got? She goes, absolutely. Okay. Now, would it be nice for you to get your Shakeology paid for? She was like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. Now, understand that what you've been doing will not get you there, okay? You're just giving your time for free. You're like a nonprofit, and that's okay. And she happened to have a nonprofit background. And I said, so why don't you do this? On the next time that you talk to people, tell them about the money back guarantee, but tell them that if you don't help them reach their goals, then it's not Shakeology fault, it's your fault as their coach. Like take on that pressure on you. And she says, okay, I guess I'll try that. Okay. Because a lot of people are not sure about spending money, right, on Shakeology or anything for themselves. So, and I said, in order for you to change, you're going to need to do something drastic, because if we hang up from this call, you're going to change something maybe for a couple of days. Then you're going to go back to whatever you were doing before. I want you to do something so scary, like to jumpstart your change so that you know that you'll survive from that. And for her, it was like just sharing her experience live. And she went live and she shared her experience and got a lot of good feedback. And the first month she hit Success Club 5. And just like a couple weeks ago, she hit now Success Club 22. Success Club 22. Like that is like the feeling that you're going to feel when you help someone do that is, I mean, you've felt that, right? It's incredible, but it's going to take some courage and it's going to take some time to talk to them. So I really want to challenge you to do it. It's a great thing. It really gives you something to shoot for, okay, beyond just the rank, and it gives your business a solid foundation. So I hope this really helps you guys. We're obviously towards the end of April. We've got, some incredible launches, like you guys know. To Be Mindset coming up. You've got, Lift 4 coming up as well. So I'm thrilled for you guys. And by the way, we're not even sharing what happens after Summit because we know that you guys' attention span can only go so far. So myself.
I just want a day so I can play with him.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Please.
Can she?
Okay. No, he doesn't want to hear your question. With the leadership ladder, like once you hit a certain rung, is that just where you stay, or is it like if you're a team leader, do you ever go back down? Like, is it month to month, I guess?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the question is, once you hit a rung, do you always stay at that rung? And the answer is no, because you always have to requalify for that rung, right? If you go from 4 coaches that hit SC1 down to 2 coaches that hit SC1, you'll go from team leader to business leader, right? If you go, if you're at 2 and you move up to 4, you'll move up to team leader. So it's something that actually gives you something to strive for every month. It's not a one-time deal, right? Something that you strive for every month. So good question. Including the volume as well.
So are we able to see, like, in our downline what our coaches are at? Like, is that somewhere that
That's
maybe
a
I've
good
just
question.
never
So
noticed?
if you go, the best way to do that would be to go under Monitor My Business and to go under Downline. And then under Downline, looking at either graphical genealogy or personally sponsored coaches, that will give you an idea, okay? An idea. And I said idea because it doesn't give you exact numbers. The best thing to do, Megan, is to do a volume recognition board where you ask your coaches, what their volume is at the end of every month. Like I actually asked them to add up their week side volume and say, what is your volume? And that way, actually through that recognition, you can see who's closest. Because they can see it, they have better visibility than you can of their volume. And that's something we're working towards improving, to give you guys visibility into your downlines volume so you can really drive the concept of volume with your downlines. Good question.
You can see in the sponsorship drill down what they were the month before, right? Like I just looked at it today.
Let's go there and see.
I'm positive you can see, like, it's obviously not current because every month it changes, but I'm positive you can see.
So in that case then, so here's what it says. Okay. It says you've got a projected PV. It gives you PV. It gives you personal volume. It doesn't actually give you team volume, which is what you're looking for. Team volume is what counts for the leadership ladder.
It does say though prior ladder rung on that.
Yeah, so it gives you your own prior ladder rung. It does.
No, for if you go into sponsorship drill down, you can see all your personally sponsored coaches, and then one of the fields, it'll say like if they have current SC points or their qualification, then there's a field for prior ladder rung.
I see. So it gives you just the ladder, but it doesn't give you the volume details.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you know what their last ladder...
Go for it, Heidi.
If you know what their last ladder rung was...
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it does. If you know what their prior ladder rung is, you can push them to the next one, or actually have a conversation with them and say, what are you missing? What are you missing, right? So that's the conversation you need to have with your coaches pushing for that as well. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the leadership ladder. So
that was great. Thank you. I feel clearer about it now. It was always kind of confusing to me. So I think that's good information for sure. It's like something you need to just put in your back pocket and just know that those conversations, it's a way to determine stability in the business way more than getting to diamond or getting to 1 star or that kind of thing. So
that's it.
And it kind of all comes back to, at the end of the day, hit Success Club, add coaches, and the rest will kind of work itself out, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if I've been able to get here, that's all you need to do. I am the worst tracker in history. I need some help, Arnauld. Our next call.
Yeah, track your business. Okay, you guys have a great end of the month, and look forward to seeing you next month. We'll looking here. We might need to do it 1 week, probably the week of the 21st instead of the last week of May. So I'll message Megan and Michelle, and we'll find something that works. So
thank you very, very much.
All right. Good
Thanks
seeing
so
you.
much. Yep. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Delaney.